We will document and investigate every reported hate crime. Even racist name-calling should be reported to police. We take this information very seriously. If you aren't sure if a hate crime occurred, call 911. We are here to help, and will respond to investigate.
Welcome to The Buff Show on the American Adversaries Radio Network. Good to be with you. I'm Matt Buff, and I'm joined today with Patrick Megaro.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you for hosting us. As we say on every episode, we are in the studios of How Scott Megaro, and we actually got Megaro of How Scott Megaro.
And
How
we're
cool
live
is that?
before a real studio audience.
Yes,
How about that?
Everybody clap in the back there. See, we're
Applause,
not lying
applause,
to you.
thank
They're
you.
really there.
All two of them, yeah. And all
Yeah.
two of you watching, please clap.
Both
too.
of them. We're kind of social distancing the audience, but as you can see, we
So I
can't
will
do
not
much.
be kissing Matt today, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry, you'll have to wait.
We can elbow bump there. So, it's a lot of craziness going on right now. And Patrick, like
What
we
a time
said,
to be alive.
we're lucky to be alive at this point, I guess. According to the CDC and WHO, you're lucky to be alive. So stay home and don't do anything, and let's just rip up the Constitution all to pieces.
That's a matter of opinion, actually, whether you're lucky to be alive or not. But I guess we're eternal optimists on here, so I say yes, we're lucky to be alive.
Yes, indeed.
Lucky to be living under a constitution that is being slowly dismantled. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a lawyer. Not like I didn't take constitutional law and practice it for the last 20 years. But
That's right. And that's exactly why we're talking to Patrick today, because constitutional law matters in a time where people are sitting at home and wondering, why am I being forced to do this? And why am I being forced to do that? I understand the health aspect, but where did my civil liberties play into effect into this? And we're going to talk about that. Just in the last couple days, there was a restaurant in Seminole County, Florida, that is doing carryout right now, Patrick.
Right.
And a boyfriend was sitting out front waiting for his girlfriend's takeout meal to be finished, okay? And while he was waiting, he took a bite of his taco. Somebody reported him to Seminole County, and they actually wanted to issue a citation on him just for taking a bite of his taco while waiting for the carryout.
so you can't eat in your car anymore. Is that what you're saying? The car is now an extension of the dining room of the restaurant.
Well, he was sitting in the tables in front of the restaurant.
Oh, I see.
So that's where they had the
But
problem.
they didn't serve him and say, "Sir, please have a bite of your taco right here on us."
Yeah, they did not.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
So I guess the moral of the story is control your hunger, control yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get somebody in serious trouble.
Yes, and if you're really, really hungry and you want to take a bite of your taco, then don't. I mean, this is the world we're living in. On the Nextdoor app, okay? Everybody's heard of that for their neighborhoods. A guy put a post in there how there was two teenagers walking side by side. And he said that is unacceptable, especially at 10 p.m. Seminole County responded to the question and say, call our non-emergency number so we can issue a citation. Guys, this is how it started in Nazi Germany.
Well, that's the thing. They're saying they're not going to give routine medical treatment at hospitals, so snitches will no longer get stitches. Snitches will go straight to the ditches. Thanks for your cooperation.
and that's unfair to people who punish snitches, I think, in that scenario.
Right. So if I told you about this, Seminole County has a Facebook page, and they put a sort of poster up there laying out the non-emergency numbers to report violations of social distancing. And if you're on Facebook, go to that posting because the comments are pure gold, right? It's not just the normal Nazi Germany references or there's so many wonderful comments, but a lot of people have reacted very poorly to that. And, my attitude is, hey, my body, my choice, right?
That's what I thought. And
Yeah.
since when did you Democrats become so pro-life? Just wondering.
About 3 weeks ago.
Very good. So I wanted to talk about something else in the legal aspect that's going on in New York City. Okay, because there's a lot of doctors going on TV right now that's saying that a mixture of drugs, including hydroxychloroquine, right, with a cornucopia of some other drugs, has been showing very positive results for people on treatments. We saw a big outlie in France where a doctor did a test on, I think it was around 600 patients.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And the positive cases came out of that of 99% with hydrochloroquine and another assortment. So what happened with Governor Cuomo in New York, where this is in the United States, the epicenter of the problem is in New York City. I mean, that's the epicenter, for crying out loud.
So let's start with the obvious.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go with the obvious and then go with the legal aspect.
Chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, it's a chemical compound. It's a very old anti-malarial treatment drug. Okay,
Right.
The United States has huge stockpiles of this, and because I know you were also in the Army, I'm sure you received an anti-malarial at one point during your tenure. So
yes, during boot camp when you walk down the line and you're getting
and you
shot
get shots
in the arm.
on either side,
yes,
yeah,
on
like an
both
assembly
sides.
line. It's like
And
go
take
through
this pill, take this shot.
A car wash, you know.
It's like a car wash.
So chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine, whatever you want to call it, is in good supply in the United States. We have an enormous stockpile. That's number one. Number two is as you said, a lot of doctors said this is showing some promise for treating this. It's not FDA approved to treat COVID-19, but then again, nothing really is yet, right? But so there are positive indications, all right? So on March 23rd, Governor Cuomo...
Keep that date in mind, March 23rd.
March 23rd.
Keep that date in mind.
Issued an executive order that says, no pharmacist shall dispense hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine except when written as prescribed for the FDA indication. So that's number one, unless you have malaria in the state of New York. Or as part of a state-approved clinical trial related to COVID-19 for a patient who is tested positive for COVID-19. Now, just the other day, I shared that with you. I called the New York State Department of Health and asked whether there were any clinical trials for hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine with COVID-19, and the answer was nope, absolutely not. So none, zero.
But a couple weeks ago, the hydrochloroquine was sent to New York City for clinical trials after FDA approval, correct? I mean, didn't that happen?
It might have been, but
there's always a but when it comes to New York.
There is no currently state-sanctioned clinical trial for this drug to treat COVID-19 as of the other day. That comes straight from the horse's mouth. And this is the last part. No other experimental or prophylactic use shall be permitted, and any permitted prescription is limited to one 14-day prescription with no refills. So chloroquine is actually prescribed to other people as an antiviral for other types of things, not just malaria. Even if you
they
were
use it
taking
for
it
arthritis,
already,
for
right.
example, yes.
Even if you were taking it already, now your prescription is cut down to 14 days. So that's March 23rd. March 27th, he amends the order and says basically, okay, everything I said the other day still holds true, except no chloroquine can be prescribed unless it's contained in a compendia specified in a federal statute that authorizes payment for Medicare drugs. And guess what's not on that list?
Hydrochloroquine.
How did you guess that? You must be so smart.
Well, and this is not a media report you're reading. This is an official document from the... Go ahead.
Executive order. This
Yes.
is, you can look it up yourselves. It is Executive Order number 202.11, and that is dated March 27th, 2020. Right there, see? Not Andrew Cuomo. Is it Andrew Cuomo?
Yeah, he's Andrew.
Chris Cuomo. Sorry, wrong. I keep wanting to say Mario.
The
Cuomo.
idiot brother that works on CNN, that's Chris.
Right. Andrew Cuomo. There's
Fredo works on CNN. The other Fredo runs New York.
I bet you he's getting chloroquine.
Oh, I bet you he's just fine. He's still doing interviews from home. Now, remember that story, okay? So there is the hotspot of the United States, and they're limiting treatment, a treatment that's been proven to work in other patients, but they're limiting it there. Now, let's move on. Essential services. We're here because this is an essential service,
right.
Law firms and attorneys, but guess what else is?
I'm essential.
Abortion clinics are deemed essential because valuing life is only applicable to if you have COVID-19.
Well, God forbid, we stop doing abortions, and the world's going to stop for that one. We can only limit so many constitutional rights, right, at one time.
Yes.
Like the right to freely assemble, the right to worship.
The right to life.
The right to life, except, so...
If you're in the womb.
Right.
Or in some cases outside of the
So
one.
we're gonna do is we're gonna go down the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and just cross out yes, no, no, yeah, leave that one. Okay, yes, no, no.
That's right. And so there's that aspect of it. And now, while everybody on the news is saying America together, right? The uplifting songs and the uplifting flag and America together. While that's going on, criminals are being let out into the streets. Child molesters are going back into your neighborhoods in metropolitan cities. Shoplifters are getting away with it and roaming free. And so you're losing your cities. And in Seattle, and the video you saw at the beginning of this tape, wants you to call 911 if you hear somebody utter the term Chinese virus. If you are offensive or say something hateful to somebody, they want you to call 911. Meanwhile, Charlie the child molester gets to go home.
Priorities, all right? What's number one here? Are we talking about safety or preventing people from getting their feelings hurt? What's more important? Feelings hurt. Right?
Feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings, said Ben Shapiro, and he's absolutely right.
That's right.
One last thing. We got to get out of here on this segment, but Candice Owens, very popular conservative commentator, she said on this, and I thought this was a great quote from her, if I die from asthma today, and an asthma attack today, and it's determined that I have COVID-19 in my system at the time of death, my death counts as a complication from coronavirus, even if I never had any symptoms. They're trying to get the numbers they need. You know that little ticker on Fox News?
Right.
Death, death, death. Or CNN. They are trying to desperately get the numbers they need to justify this pandemic response. The numbers, guys, are not adding up. It would take about 4 years to hit that 1.5 million number that they're talking about at the rate we are now. Be smart out there, do the right thing, and when you are in criminal trouble, and if you need an appeal, there is one place to go. Call this guy.
Thank you.
Or whoever answers the phone up there. We'll take care of you. AppealsLawGroup.com. All right. Hal Scott Megaro, appellate lawyers, AppealsLawGroup.com. And then, of course, he will be on the American Adversaries radio show. Usually you can hear Patrick Friday nights on the show, and you can listen to that show on AmericanAdversaries.com. Or if you're in Central Florida at 94.9 FM and AM 950, The Answer. And that is at 5 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday through the next, the following Friday. So that's great. All days except Saturday. We'll see you soon on the Buff Show. Take it easy out there and be smart.
Be safe.